call this meeting to order. Wait for. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll let our fearless leader have a seat first before we do the roll calls. Okay, we will have a roll call, please, Ashley.
Councilmember Gross,
Yes.
Salvi,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Phillipson,
Yes.
Mayor Wallers.
Yes. Okay, we'll start out with, of course, Mayor Waller's quote for the day. Today is a quote from President Harry Truman. In periods where there is no leadership, society stands still. Progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better. Just want to give a shout out to Whitney. Thanks for taking on additional leadership during this interim period and taking on the additional duties. We really appreciate that. We have the items on the agenda have been added. We both, I think that's, or all of us received the added items, and they have been added to the agenda. So I will turn it back over to the council and to take action on the motion. We'll need a motion to approve, and if you have any items that you'd like to add or discuss, now would be a good time, but just looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I will move a motion to approve the agenda as listed.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Carried. Citizens' comments. If anybody in the audience, well, it's not on the agenda, would like to approach the council, now would be a good time for that. Seeing none. We do have a public hearing tonight. It's the Wellhead Protection Policy Part 2, and we'll take care of that resolution accepting the Wellhead Protection Policy and approval of that plan, Part 2, and in the same suite, in the same time here. So at this time, I know we have representatives from Bolton and Mink here, and I would invite Angie, if you want to come up, or anybody who wants to come up and speak to this, or you sure can. Approach the mic and maybe state your name and all that good stuff.
Yeah, good evening. I am Angie Smith from Bolton and Mink. I'm a senior environmental planner and been working with the city staff and the team to review the previous wellhead protection plan, and then working with our colleagues at Minnesota Department of Health, getting the update for the city to have continued drinking water protection for the next 10 years and implementing this plan of action, which not only provides additional grant funding opportunities, but also just that timeline and a plan to put in place for making sure that the drinking water stays safe for your residents within the city. So we don't have any formal presentation for you this evening, but more than happy to answer any questions. And if anything really technical comes up, I'd invite Dan Disrude from MDH to join me as well.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of questions. This is, of course, a requirement of the state. It's driven by the Department of Health, so I guess I don't really have.
Requirement and a benefit.
Pardon?
A requirement and a benefit.
Yes, for sure.
For everything. Yes.
This is maybe more of a question for Ryan. Who is actually part of that, of our team that monitors that? Is that you, or do you have exclusively you, or is there a?
Adam and I.
You and Adam are the team? Okay, so you'll take care of the implementation of all this and monitor it and all that good stuff?
Yep, documentation and all that.
Okay. Any other discussion, members of the council, that questions? Okay.
I don't. Maybe just.
Yeah.
Dan Disrude, Minnesota Department of Health. I'm a source water protection planner. So again, this is nothing new to the city. Again, Ryan and his team and predecessors have done great things for quite some time. And again, this is your amendment. So again, you had a plan. So nothing new to the city. 2007 was the initial plan approval. Again, as mentioned, it's a 10-year plan. You can probably see there's a little bit of a gap, and there's some capacity at MDH as well as at the city as far as a kind of a gap there. But we did apply for an extension, got this process started. Again, this has been a process. Angie's done a great job. Commend the city as well as Angie and the team that were part of developing this plan, which started in 2020 actually, where MDH did the part one, the science behind it. Angie came in after the part one was approved. But again, that was an action that the city council did. So you've already seen a part of this. There was a public information meeting a couple years ago. Again, quite a long process. Some of you might remember that. But again, we have finally found ourselves standing next to the finish line. So again, thank you for your role here and as far as accepting the plan. And after this, Angie will help the city as far as submitting for state approval. So there's still going to be another 60-day comment period. So you have completed a 60-day period, and I understand that there wasn't any concerns brought to our attention, the city's attention at that time. But I don't anticipate any issues when this is shared with our state partners, the DNR, Department of Agriculture, MPCA, Bowser. But they will have their chance to again comment on it. I don't expect anything, but again, like I said, we're standing next to the finish line, and again, thanks to Angie for bringing us here, and not only us here being for questions, but Ryan has our contact information. We're hoping to be resources for you as well if there's any questions that do come up, or if there are concerns that are brought to your attention after this public hearing is closed.
Thank you. Any other questions for the council? If not, I'll looking for a motion to approve that resolution, and then we can have a vote.
I will make the motion on the wellhead protection policy part 2 and resolution accepting wellhead protection policy and approval of plan part 2.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on that resolution approving the wellhead protection policy part 2. We'll have roll call vote, please, Ashley, on that resolution.
Councilmember Carrell,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Phillipson,
Yes.
Mayor Waller.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to reading and approval of minutes from June 27th, 2023.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
I will move approval of the regular minutes from our June 27 meeting.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Carried. Now we will have the condensed version of the meeting minutes from June 27th.
I will move approval of the condensed version of the June 27th meeting minutes.
And I will second.
Motion and a second on the condensed version of the meeting minutes. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Carried. We have the consent agenda items, which consists of the audit of city bills, the gambling report, the tree board minutes, and the added temporary on-sale liquor license for the Morris Eagles Club. And I'll looking for a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
I will second those. I just had one question, I guess, regarding the liquor license for the Eagles. I had assumed that they have the proper insurance, because sounds like they're gonna have to take out a liquor liability if they have that.
Correct,
and
yes,
all that good
yep,
stuff.
that's verified.
That's all verified, okay, good. All right. Any other discussion on any of the items on the consent agenda?
Line 27, just for my knowledge, what does that all entail? It's the first time I've seen that one.
Sure, so that is tax increment financing, they get paid twice a year.
Sure,
So February and August, the payments go out, so this is the second half.
perfect.
All right, any other questions on any of the other items? on Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Carried. We will move on to petitions, requests, and communications. I guess we don't have none, so we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. And at this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Greg Bolton up here. He can speak to us about the redesign for our transit office, our transit bus garage project.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm Greg Bull with Widseth, and I'm the architect for the project. And just kind of going over the plans a little bit. We did reduce the vehicle storage area by one bay from the original design. And then we did also keep the existing bay where the break room would be. We combined the break room and the office area together in the new revised plan. And then the locker room, we eliminated that space and then basically took the toilet rooms and shifted those to the north. And then just included the lockers in the first bay right outside of the open office area. Just made the plan a lot simpler. And took out like all the bollards, for instance. The rest of the finishes remain the same as the original design. We took out some of the windows in the vehicle storage as well. And the glass doors are no longer in the plan, so they're all just regular garage doors. So very energy efficient, all that sort of thing. So we have that plan. I sent that to Whitney this morning, I believe it was, and sent it to MnDOT, and they did give us verbal approval of the intent of the redesign to meet the grant requirements. So we're good on that front as of this point. So.
Yeah, just to add to Greg's presentation there, if you remember the first initial round of bids, the lowest came in at 1.6 million. It's $1 million grant, including 200,000 local. So
Yep.
we really needed to try and cut costs everywhere we could. Everybody worked together. Beth, Greg, Jeff Kuhn, and I, and
Yep.
Blaine was in some of it, but
Sure.
this is the result of cutting costs as much as we can. So we're hopeful with your guys' approval to bring it out for bid again, and hopefully get some bids that are more around the 1 million, so we can go ahead with this project. And like he said, I put in the memo that the state of Minnesota is reviewing the plans and specs, so then in the resolution, I put contingent upon approval of MnDOT. But since this resolution was out, Brian did give us verbal approval of it. So if you guys pass this resolution and approve it, I think we'll be good to go. Once he gets a complete set, then
Right.
we'll be able to open the window for bids.
Right.
So, and the hope is they can start even this fall and they can work through winter,
Right.
according to Greg's experience with this type of project. So
Right. Yep. Exactly.
hopefully we won't be too far behind.
Right.
So we're shooting for $1 million in the government grant, and another 20% for us, another 200, so
Yep,
we're
so 200
trying to
is
keep it under
budgeted.
about a 1.2, is what we're
1
shooting.
million, and then, so it's a $800,000 grant with 200 local
Okay,
to make it $1 million
Okay.
project.
okay.
Yep.
I think originally, if I remember right, Jeff, we were talking about those glass doors on there, and I'm kind of, it doesn't hurt my feelings to see the glass doors go.
Well, it was a garage door basically that was gonna be in your meeting room, which we're in west central Minnesota, and energy efficiency just doesn't make any sense to have another garage door when you have 4 or 5 or 6 others that are opened up. So, yeah. I guess a little common sense, and we're trying to save energy as it's getting more expensive. So, yes, sounds good.
You do something out there, so I'll move on this resolution authorizing advertising for bids for the redesign of the transit office and bus garage addition project.
In the amount of just over $1 million.
Yes.
I will second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on that resolution. Any further discussion? All right, we'll have roll call vote on that resolution, please, Ashley.
Councilmember Sullivan,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Pellicet,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes. All right. We will move on to, well, city manager's reports and recommendations. Do you have anything for us,
I do
City
not.
Manager Millard?
We're holding steady.
Hold steady.
1 week till Rebecca starts, and haven't had anything too big come up yet, so.
All right. Any, yeah, thanks again for all your, keeping everything, keeping the ship upright, I guess.
Yeah, takes a
Appreciate
team. We're doing well.
Yep. There was never a doubt in my mind. Anything from the rest of the council with regards to boards and any board updates, things you'd like to share?
I'd like to share, out at the, I'm on the, sit on the RFC board, so we've had some conversations about, you know, COVID. It was pretty hard on the RFC and other deals, so we're in a little bit of a shortfall, and we're having some talk about the joint powers entities contributing another capital influx, one-time capital influx back into the RFC. So of potentially 25,000 for each entity. So I would like to, you know, have the board or the council members think about that as we go into our preliminary budgeting. So we can probably get that into our preliminary budget, and then whether it makes final budget or not. We're gonna hopefully have some conversations short or soon with our new city manager, and probably you, the mayor, too, and other members of the joint powers. So let's try to get the ship on the right way again. And so we've talked about it, and I, you know, made sure that, hey, if this isn't something that I want you to come at us every couple of years. You know, this is kind of, if we do this, it's going to be a one more time event. So, and that's kind of where the approach that we're taking on it. So, just wanted to get it out there
Yep.
for our preliminary budget
No, that's good.
considerations.
That's good. That's what this opportunity is for, to discuss those types of things. And I think we all know, it goes without saying, the RFC is it's a real big asset to our community. Gets used a lot, so thanks for bringing that forward, Brian.
Is this mostly for just operating expenses?
Yeah,
then? Nothing-
for that and some additional repairs and some maintenance that we have to do too.
Have to do or have left? I mean, because I know the pool was
It's-
down for
Yeah,
a
we
while.
had some expenses there too, not the full, we did get insurance on some of that too. And it is part mostly from a shortfall,
Okay.
you know. I think enrollment's been down too, but
Yep, that.
but our membership has just been down over COVID. I mean, it's been and we're coming back and everything is coming back, but you do have shortfalls there that just are really hard to overcome through that period. And it's very important, I think, for the community and all the members of the joint powers will have to come together to put their share in and get it righted on the right path again. I think it's something that we need to do as a city, and I'd like to see it considered in the budget, whether we pass it or
Yep.
not. So.
Yeah, we're fast approaching that period, so it's good to bring it forward, Brian. I appreciate that. Chamber news, I guess I could report, you may or may not have heard, of course, July 26th, that's crazy days coming up. It's gonna be a fun day. There's actually, the Morris women of today are getting behind some entertainment at the park. They're looking at bringing in a band called Blue Red Roses. So the women of today have been gracious to sponsor that event. It's gonna go from 5:30 to 8 PM on that same day. So, gonna have beer and hot dogs. I think Met Lounge is gonna be there with beer and hot dogs, and I think the Blow and Smoke vendor, food truck guy will be there, and it just sounds like a fun deal. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, and you know, I think the Killer and Music Hall has been one of our most underused resources we have, and it's nice to see that somebody's spearheading, trying to get some entertainment going there. It's a good deal.
Who owns that property between, the realtor, that Anderson Acres was in, that empty lot? Is that city owned or that's privately owned?
I don't
I
know.
think it's privately owned.
It's
yeah.
privately owned, but I'm not sure who. It's between McGinnis and
Yeah,
the Realty Building or. I see city staff has been out planting our new park benches. They got all their benches in.
yes.
They've been going around with pickups and pouring some, but they're in different spots, so us older codgers that can't stand all day long can go and sit in our park benches if we're in the park, so just a heads up that they are working on those, so.
Well, I went and looked at the ones over at Eastside Park, and they're freestanding. They're not cemented in or anything, but they're nice, really nice benches. I like that, though, that they're freestanding, so you could, I don't know, maybe move them around or.
Well, and I'm sure different locations, they determine that if there is things going on to move them, but for the most part, they want them fixed in a spot so that they're not carried away or having issues, but yeah.
I suppose that spot there would be, if they ever have a truck or something that needs to get through there, that way that the benches aren't in the way. I don't know if trucks can drive across the basketball court, though. It probably wouldn't be a real good idea, but I don't know. Cause I know, ice cream trucks and, you know, wagons and stuff come through there, so. Yeah, they look nice, very nice. Anything else, any other boards, updates at all? None? All right, we'll move on to other business. Any other business? I guess I have a question, maybe Whitney, you can answer this. The pickleball court, have you got any kind of update on when that's gonna get surfaced?
Yes, it's either the end of this week or beginning of next week.
Okay. All right, I drove by there today and I seen it wasn't,
And that includes the basketball court also
Right.
over.
There's a little bit of they might have to adjust where they put the gates, cause the gate should have been where there's already the sidewalk that was put in. But Russ is working with the contractor on that. But yes, surfacing end of this week or beginning of next week.
Weather dependent, obviously.
You mean the gates on the new fence?
Yeah. It was put towards the soccer field, which doesn't, to make it ADA compliant, there's no sidewalk.
So
Addressed.
they
So yeah, Russ is working with them to get it fixed, so hopefully not any
didn't
additional
make any
costs.
sense to put it where the sidewalk was already when they were putting it
Right.
up?
Right. Just a little hiccup, but yes, surfacing.
and I see that
Sorry.
fence is kinda interesting to me because, you know, I play basketball myself, but what are the chances that basketball's gonna go over the fence? And I didn't see any openings on the other side, so if your basketball does bounce over the fence, I mean, how are you gonna have to walk way around to get your ball? I
They're in
mean,
better shape than we are, Mayor, so they can actually make it around
well, there's
there and
that.
grab it and get back with them.
If they're basketball players, maybe they can just jump over the fence, I don't know.
Here you go.
Got that 5-foot vertical. I want to recognize our city attorney. Is this going to be your last meeting?
It is. I want to recognize you guys. If I could have a few minutes to,
You sure can.
not a few minutes, maybe a minute. I won't hold you. I just want to thank you for this opportunity to do this job this last 12 years. This has been a great experience for me. I don't know if you know this, but this part of the job for me is a very small part of what I do for the city. I do mostly the criminal prosecutions for misdemeanors and that kind of thing. So this has always been really fascinating to me. I've enjoyed some of the more meaty issues over the years from a lawyer standpoint, getting to dive in and do some real legal research and hopefully help find some solutions to different issues over the years. I've really enjoyed that. And I've really enjoyed working with each of you and your predecessors and serving this city. So thank you very much.
Well,
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Thank
yes.
you, Aaron, and it has, everybody else speak if they'd like to, but I know I appreciate all your support over the years. I know I've picked up the phone and called you several times on several occasions, and it's just reassuring to know that you got a legal support channel there that, there's a lot of moving parts to this, and I just want to say thank you personally for that.
I appreciate it.
Very approachable, yes, easy to work with. I really have enjoyed the time, and time does fly. It doesn't seem like it's been 12 years, but good luck in your next adventure.
Thank you.
And where is that?
McLeod County, so
Nice.
Hutchinson's the
Okay.
biggest city. Glencoe's the county seat.
Closer to home?
Yeah, my parents live near there, and so do my wife's, and so we have a lot of family in that area.
Well, good luck to you. I'm sure they're getting a quality candidate there for you do great things.
Thank you.
Well, we'll miss you and Esther. You've
Yeah.
been an integral part of our community for several years, so thanks again. Anything else to come before the council? Hearing none. Meeting adjourned.
Hope you train your predecessor.